while during my journey in my career, I realized that I need to know more than what is taught, not just from the job but also from formal courses. So sleep we should not compromise, but every other thing can be compromised. I also understood how to build a team for services, because besides medical there are also pharmacy, life science teams whom you have to work. You have to understand the patient centricity is missing. Patient has to come to the site, patient has to understand, patient has to take the drug, patient has to suffer. In fact, I would say the smart technology like AIs did not disrupt, they actually prevented the disruption of the industry. A lot of drugs were necessary, a lot of vaccines were necessary during COVID. So how to do that when there's a lot of COVID outside, patients cannot come out of the home, there's a lockdown, how to do that? People have a very blinkered kind of they only know this much, but their role could have been this much. It is often said that the people don't leave their companies, they leave their bosses. Your learning actually begins after you complete your degree, or after you complete your post graduation, after you complete your PhD. That is when the learning really starts.
Welcome, Dr. Sinha, to Pharma Now. It's been pleasure to having you here. So let me start first question, which is very quick curiosity for me. When I look at your visiting card, there are so many letters, so many degrees. So I really wanted to understand what inspires you to take this journey.
So I'm basically a physician by training. I did my MBBS and MD from Mumbai, and next, while during my journey in my career, I realized that I need to know more than what is taught, not just from the job but also from formal courses. So our work involves both clinical as well as management work. So in terms of clinical, I also practice. Besides being in the industry, I also teach in medical colleges as adjunct faculty. So considering all of that, the knowledge upgradation was very important, and that's why I went ahead and did some courses in which was required for infectious diseases, diabetes, and family medicine, so that I am able to do justice to the requirements of knowledge. The other part was during my industry, career. I realized that a lot of management jargon which I didn't understand during my discussion with the marketing and sales functions. That's precisely the reason why I did executive program in management from IIM Calcutta, and also there is a further interest was in hospital management. I did an MBA in hospital management from BITS Pilani. So these were mainly to enhance my knowledge in the management and marketing, etc., those kind of fields, so that I understand at least what is being discussed, rather than merely know what is EBITDA and what is top line, what is bottom line, what is strategy, marketing strategy, all of that, and much more. So it was more of personal interest combined with the professional requirement that I went ahead and continue to do. So it is not the end. I think there is more. I'm also doing a postdoctoral course called the DSc, the highest science degree in the land. Then there are further Royal College of Physicians is also coming up. So it will continue till the end of my life. That is how you increase your.
That's very interesting. So you wear so many caps.
Yes.
You already are one of a senior leader in one of the leading pharma company. How you basically manage your time?
So it is up to you. There are 24 hours. How you use it, it is not. If you say that I have to sleep 8 hours, I have to bath for 1 hour, I have to eat for 1 hour, and I have to sleep for. I have to do chit chatting for another 2 hours. Then you'll not have time. But if you say that I have to work for 24 hours, and if I find time in between, I will eat and I will do every other thing. Sleep we should not compromise, but every other thing can be compromised. The other motivation that is there is, you have to be an example to your team. If you have to see that you are perceived as superior in terms of knowledge, and demonstrate a superior in terms of efficiency and knowledge. So if that is there, then the team also gets motivated. And last but not the least, my children, they also see me as an example when they are growing up, and that is what was one of the reasons why my one of my child is doing his medicine also. So for him, I am an example. I have to set an example for him. That is all. There are multiple reasons why I want to do and I do whatever I do.
Wonderful. But there is a buzzword called work-life balance, right? Your the portrait is absolutely opposite to that. So what's your take on it?
I feel that word is for lazy people. Uh, uh, you know, if you are those, I feel that if you are satisfied with your job and for me it is variety that will matter. So as you see, I also do teaching. I enjoy that. If you enjoy that, what is the balance that you require? I also teach my children. It's not that I neglect them. I also take care of my family as much as I work. So it's not that they are exclusive of each other. We can do both if you want. It is only your motivation that will matter.
Sure. Coming back to the
Work.
pharma. So your specialization lies in clinical trials and medical affairs. I would like to know more about it.
See, education wise, that is not the specialization. Education wise, it is medicine. Clinical trials is one of the sub branches of one of the medical subjects called pharmacology. Now, clinical trials is also an essential function in pharmaceutical industry, without which no medicine can be, no drug can get approvals or post approval. They cannot continue to remain licensed, which is why clinical trial becomes an essential function. So the only I mean the major place where the physicians get their job is in whatever is related to medical field. So clinical trials, medical affairs, that is medical content, medical training of the field sales representatives, then there are medical review functions. All of that is part of the physician's job inside the pharma company. Along the way, I also understood how to build a team for services, because besides medical, there are also pharmacy, life science teams whom you have to work with coordinate. Accordingly, I learned the art of building teams for the entire function, rather than solely being a physician or a medical person. So that is why it appears as a specialization, but it is actually a function of the pharma role, where a physician and the teams that has the physician has these functions. So that's how I have come into this function, and that's how I built the teams based on this function. And my previous 3 roles have been to build such teams. When I came into Hetero, I had no team. Today I have a team of 120 plus people. That is because of the management support, which they also realize the need for a team of clinical trials, medical affairs, pharmacovigilance, especially in-house rather than outsourcing everything. Because in-house gives you the control and gives you control over the work as well as compliance. So because that was understood, the management supported us to build a team. Similarly, in my last 2 companies also, my job was to build teams. So I've been building teams since 2000. I would say last 15 years or so. Of my 25 years, I've been a team builder. That is my you can say that has become my specialization now.
Wow. I will come back to the team building part. But before that, I also wanted to understand. So, in an area of clinical trials, right now a lot of disruptions are happening. Post-COVID, there is a lot of AI involved. The clinical trial usually takes ages. So it usually takes ages, but nowadays through the AI, these guys are reducing the time of clinical trial. So what's your take on it?
Okay, COVID itself was a disruption.
Yeah.
Okay, now COVID taught us how to do things smartly, and how to go get things around the standard processes. Meaning, Usually for example, I'll give you an example. For a clinical trial, there are clinical trial sites, which are hospitals, where the consultants are there. They're typically called investigators. Patients will come to the hospitals, get treated. In the meanwhile, these consultants who are investigators will, uh, convince and educate the patient about the trial. The patient will understand, participate in the trial, keep coming to the site. Now, in this whole process, it looks all right, but you have to understand the patient centricity is missing. Patient has to come to the site, patient has to understand, patient has to take the drug, patient has to suffer, besides his suffering for the disease. Now, COVID understood that patient cannot now come to the hospital. So what do? You go to the patient. So patient centricity meant that the patient should be the center of your role, not the data. Okay, not just the data. So investigator, so we as an industry understood that we have to take this trial to the patient's homes, and sites have to collaborate with the patient's homes and ensure that the data is collected from patient homes rather than they coming to the site. So there are smart technology that came in to detect blood pressure, ECG, blood sugar, that is continuous glucose monitoring example, then many other things, and then involvement of the local clinics in association with these hospitals to ensure that data is collected locally. So that will also require technology. So smart technology for patient centricity was required, and that is how in fact I would say the smart technology like AIs did not disrupt; they actually prevented the disruption of the industry. If these were not there or these approaches were not there, trials would have been impossible. But to tell you the fact was, it was exactly the opposite. There are more trials during COVID than pre-COVID, immediate pre-COVID, because a lot of drugs were necessary, a lot of vaccines were necessary during COVID. So how to do that when there's a lot of COVID out there, patients cannot come out of the home, there's a lockdown, how to do that? So smart methods, smart logistics were involved, and with that technology came in, and with that the disruption that would have otherwise happened was prevented. So that was a lesson for the entire industry to involve and implement the smart technologies throughout the processes, even in clinical trials. In the factory, it is easy because it's a captive site. You can, the machines are in your control. But in clinical trials, the patients are elsewhere. You are outside. It's outside. The hospitals itself are outside, which are the sites. Now, that was prevented, the disruption prevented with the help of AI, smart technologies, and related, facilities. So, I think the word disruption is probably a misunderstanding here. It is a disruption which was prevented by the smart technologies, and because we had to be patient centric.
Certainly, that's an interesting point of view. So now I will come back to the team building part. So what are the key challenges to build a team, particularly in the pharma industry?
In fact, like any other industry, the key challenges is the skill gap. Okay. The skill is, and in our education system, sadly, or unfortunately, the skill focus is missing. We are only focused on didactic learning and a syllabus-wise reading, which may or may not be applicable in the current in the real life. A lot of innovations that happen, at a very fast pace in the industry, even in the pharma industry, which are never taught in the curriculum. Okay, so that skill gap is a big problem, which so therefore to take a college freshers is extremely difficult, unless some of the colleges, it's not that all colleges like that, but few colleges or institutions are affiliated to the industry. They are teach advanced concepts and advanced techniques. So those are easy to take, but then they are not available. Most of the freshers that you get are from those who are really unskilled. They are educated but unskilled. That is the first challenge. Now, so most of us, in fact, I told you, I'm a physician, but I'm into a sub branch. Now, I also didn't learn it in college. I learned it in the industry. So that is still the case, but now there is a lot of collaborations with the industry. So we go out also collaborating with the institutions so that to upskill the. So we have internship programs with medical colleges, pharmacy colleges who come. People come in, students come in here and work. PG, MD students also come here and do their internship so that they understand the work that they are going to do in their workplace. That has helped reduce the skill gap to a certain extent. Now, as far as the experience gap is concerned, now you have one is skill gap, one is experience gap. You need a certain degree of experience and certain type of experience for a certain type of job, and often that is not the case. Often you have, because industry works in silos, people have a very blinkered kind of they only know this much, but their role could have been this much. As a human being, our brains are not supposed to be, we are not supposed to be specialist in regulatory affairs. Example, we could be more, and that more is prevented and not encouraged in the industry. My approach has been exactly the reverse. My approach has been that you are supposed to learn all that are related to your field, and over a period of years you can actually work in one discipline. So anybody who enters my department, whether it is a physician, whether it is a pharmacist, they learn. I have a combined department. If you see, it's a clinical trial, pharmacovigilance, medical affairs, writing, data management, statistics, regulatory affairs. All of these are there. Thankfully, our management allowed us to not outsource much and do in-house insourcing and in-house development. That helped the experience gap. So we gave experience to the people who came from other companies who did not have that experience, and they were, even if they did not stay in the company for a long time, they went out much richer in experience. And many of them have come back because they didn't get this type of experience elsewhere. So the main approach has been in the team building is to reduce the skill gap and experience gap. That is one. The last and not the least is the soft skills and motivation. It is often said that the people don't leave their companies, they leave their bosses. So accordingly, not only the colleagues, the teams, but the team leaders, the heads, they also equally need to be trained. We have a very good L&D program, learning and development L&D department, which does this soft skills training, leadership training, mentorship, communication, mentoring. There's a whole program for every level, and that has helped a lot of. In fact, I have worked closely with our L&D department to ensure that our leaders as well as our teams get into this kind of training. So, that's why I said, just getting a job is not enough. To continue to be eligible for the job requires a lot of effort from personal effort. Okay, that motivation you cannot give it with high salaries only. You require to provide that conditions, provide that mentoring, provide that kind of support that as a every leader should behave like a mentor. Only then your colleagues will stay back. They will support you even when they are there. So that is what I have encouraged inside our department, and with the help of our management, with the help of our supporting departments, we have been able to do that. Our attrition levels are very low, except maybe pharmacovigilance, where a lot of poaching happens from the various CROs and KPOs. But otherwise, clinical trial, medical affairs, even pharmacovigilance for that matter, we have people staying for longer time than is the average standard in the industry.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, the last question.
Yes, sir.
Being a senior leader, I wanted to have one piece of advice the people who are aspiring to be our pharma leaders in future, what would be that one piece of advice you would like to give the aspiring leaders?
I think there is no one piece of advice. I would say that keep yourself fresh to learn more. You should all continue to learn and be open to ideas. Be open to the fact that just because you have a degree, you have not learned everything. Your learning actually begins after you complete your degree, or after you complete your post graduation, after you complete your PhD. That is when the learning really starts. And that openness, I would request every newcomer who like to be part of pharma industry, be open to innovation, be open to rapid advances. It requires to be on your toes. It is not a job for sitting back in the chair and enjoying the fruits of your degree. It's not, does not happen like that. Pharma industry is a very rapidly changing environment. Innovations and automations, then regulatory changes, everything changes during over almost every day. So you have to be adaptive to that. That is the only piece of thing that I would say. Rest will fall in place. You will have your promotions, increments, positions, everything will come in. If you are hardworking and able to be continuous learning, that's all that you require.
Fantastic. I think it's really wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much.
This conversation is really going to inspire a lot of people. Thanks a lot for being a part of Pharma Now and for this conversation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.